Hey everyone, Weather for Weather Geeks time, Friday evening. It's the final edition of this video for the month of March, believe it or not, with April 1st coming up on Monday. I wanted, before we get to what's going on today and the weekend forecast, wanted to do a quick March review. Here was our March temperature forecast that we put out at the very end of February, showing high chances for below average temperatures out here, some warmth compared to average in the southeast, and our forecast called for us to be kind of somewhere in between. Well, how did that forecast turn out? Locally, we weren't quite cold enough with the forecast. Here's a look at the temperature anomalies so far in the month of March. We'll end up probably about a degree to degree and a half. I haven't done the math yet, but it'll be roughly a degree or degree and a half cooler than average. You'll notice the overall idea with the forecast was right, though, in that on a national scale anyway, the colder than average temperatures were centered out here, and the warmer than average temperatures were centered down in parts of the deep south, down into Florida. It was off certainly on the west coast. It was colder on the west coast than it looked like it would be. I would give our forecast here locally B minus for the month of March temperature-wise. Temperature-wise today has certainly been colder than it has been over the last 24 to 36 hours. 10 degrees colder than this same time last night. It was kind of a flatline temperature day today at the Youngstown Warren Airport. We hit 60 late in the afternoon, early in the evening yesterday. But once we dropped down to about 50 this morning, we kind of stayed there all day. It was a little bit warmer, as expected, in parts of Mahoning and especially into Columbiana counties. But at the airport in Vienna, temperatures hardly moved. And they'll hardly move tonight. I think we're right in this same neighborhood all night, upper 40s to around 50, perhaps even rising a touch late at night. Now, the day got off to a wet start with roughly a quarter to a third of an inch worth of rain in most places early today. This transitioned, as expected, to just some real spotty light rain and drizzle and just kind of murkiness outside for the tail end of the afternoon and heading into the evening as well. We'll probably get a little break from the drizzle for a time tonight, maybe a spotty shower or two late at night. This is our area of low pressure out here that is getting set to head east and give us the changeable weekend weather. There is a winter component to this storm, of course. On the cold side of the storm, winter weather advisory is out for parts of Nebraska and Wyoming. Winter storm warnings up in the higher terrain of the Bitterroot Range in Wyoming, and then in the mountainous areas in southern Colorado into northern New Mexico. Also some winter storm watches out. All right, back here at home. Now, tomorrow is not going to be a rainy day. I think there'll be scattered showers, especially as we get into the second half of the day. A lot of the morning hours from, say, daybreak through noon may not do a whole lot. And temperatures will actually rise pretty nicely. I think we'll touch 60 in most of the area tomorrow. Rain showers become a little more likely as we head past lunchtime into the afternoon, but even they'll be kind of widely scattered and not terribly organized. Certainly the most organized rain is going to head our way as we head towards dinner time into the time around sunset for your Saturday evening. Could be some local downpours in a few spots. Then, all right, the big story with the weather for the weekend is we did ramp up our snow accumulations for Saturday night. Now, when I put this online, of course, my Facebook comments are about this long on this, and you know, most people anyway, are not real happy about seeing snow at this time of the year. We don't want to overemphasize this. This is going to be low impact in the grand scheme of things. Most of us will just sleep right through this, but a transition from rain to snow will occur probably sometime between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., and it'll snow at a decent clip for a couple of hours, can stick to your car, can stick to your yard and your deck. You know, if you happen to be out and about at 4 a.m. on Sunday morning, there won't be many people who are. If you happen to be out and about, I think roads are going to be generally wet. This is coming at night, but after reaching a high in the lower 60s earlier in the day, you know, especially since the snow rates probably won't be super crazy hard, I don't expect a lot of problems on the roads. Lingering flurries into Sunday morning. If you're heading off to service a Sunday morning, again, roads should be just fine. Just kind of a gloomy, wintry, one-day return of winter coming our way on Sunday. We'll get a break from the clouds on Monday. Actually, a beautiful, sunny day for opening day up in Cleveland and in Pittsburgh, but it is going to be cold, no higher than the lower and middle 40s in most of the area. All right, so rainfall hour by hour chances for your Saturday, ramping up in the afternoon and reaching their highest point as we go towards the evening hours. This is a product from the National Weather Service showing the odds of a certain amount of snow. This is the 2-inch threshold, showing the highest odds of about 2 inches, all from parts of Summit County, northern Portage County, Geauga County, Ashtabula County, heading up towards Erie as well, with generally decreasing odds as you go off to the south. I generally agree with those thoughts, and here's my snow forecast for our area. In our TV viewing area, 3 is going to be the very top limit. I think most places it's a slushy inch and a half, maybe 2 or so in a lot of places. And this is primarily centered from 224 on north. The farther south and southeast you go away from Youngstown, you're going to be hard pressed to see an inch, and that includes all of Columbiana County. That includes most of Lawrence County as well. I think you'll see snowflakes in the middle of the night if you happen to be up, but probably not much more than an inch in those locales. So it's a low impact event because of the timing, because of the nature of the snow, because of how warm it'll be ahead of the snow on Saturday. So minimal impacts on the roads, not expecting power issues. If you're heading off to church services Sunday morning, either early or by late morning, I think you're going to be generally just fine. You may have to just brush, if your car's sitting out, you may have to brush off a sloppy 3/4 of an inch, inch and a half or so worth of snow. All right, is this it? Is this it for the season? I'm 95% sure, yes. And what I mean by this graphic is, are we done with accumulating snow after this? And I'm 95% sure that we are. Now, we've had probably a dozen Aprils in history with no measurable snow. We usually see some measurable snow in the month of April, but most of the time, in most years, and I could show you the list, most years it's not much. So it would be going out on a limb a little bit to say no measurable snow for the rest of the season. But I think as far as impactful snow that you might have to break out the brush for, this should be it. Could I rule out later in April we get a random 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch? No, but the stuff that really matters, this should be it. I like what I see in the longer range. This is the 8 to 14 day outlook. Now, the 8 to 14 day product issued by the Climate Prediction Center has been a little bit all over the place this week, as the models have tried to show some cooling in the medium range at times, but today's runs were definitely warmer, and so you see that reflected in this product, a pretty warm 8 to 14 day period. The month of April as a whole, this is a look at the climate forecast system modeling for April, showing a real lack of cool across North America, with the warmest anomalies centered from Alaska through kind of the southern tier of Canada, perhaps down into New England. The coolest weather compared to average may be centered out here, but you don't see much cool on the playing field here in the month of April. So not real confident as to the magnitude of the warmth in April, whether it's a little bit warmer than average or quite a bit warmer than average. I don't have a lot of confidence in that just yet. I do have some reasonably high confidence that April will be somewhat, at least, warmer than average, and reasonably high confidence that it will be quite a bit warmer than last April, which was pretty darn chilly. Hope you have a great weekend, everyone. I'll have updates on your Saturday night forecast as we go into the weekend. Make sure you're following both Chris Sarinelli and Andrew DePaula this weekend. They'll have you covered here from the 21 News Studios in downtown Youngstown. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday.